Good morning, good evening, good afternoon everyone. Welcome back to another State of Decay 2 ranking video. You read the title right. Today we're ranking the 4 leader types in State of Decay 2. The Builder, Trader, Sheriff and Warlord. They all offer very different storylines, rewards and bonuses throughout your playthrough. But which one's the best? Which one's the worst? And everything in between. That's what we're going to cover today. So no more yapping, let's just get right into it. Starting with number 4. Coming in at number 4, the Warlord. Some people like the Warlord, and one thing I will say about the Warlord is that the storyline for it is one of the most action-packed and entertaining. The Warlord is exactly how it sounds. You are the man, or woman, the big boss. Or you try to be. You have the juice. And try to assert dominance over the map. A group speaks out against you? Kill them. A group has the weapons you want? Wipe them out. Eventually you catch word of a rival organisation named the Coalition. Basically the good guys, who aren't going to put up with any more harassment. And you say,
"In your cars, get your guns. We go in. Kill them all."
Is your character a little unhinged? Maybe, but it's fun nonetheless. On higher difficulties though, it can be very dangerous, with enclaves being more than capable of one-shotting you, so that doesn't help its case. It's not easy. The special bonus you get when completing the Warlord storyline, otherwise known as boons, is something called mobilization. When you start another playthrough with mobilization selected, you get this list of weapons that I've displayed on screen here into your supply locker, straight away. Now this boon is good, and all the boons are good, but this one is probably the least useful. The care package of guns at the start is great, especially a sniper off the start, that is good, and a lot of 50 cal rounds, but eventually you will run out of the ammo, grenades, and find better weapons. It's not as suitable or long lasting as the other bonuses. Moving on to what you get with the Warlord leader. You can build the armory, Spartan barracks, and fully upgrade the fighting gym. Let's look at the armory first. You can craft pretty much every type of ammo in the game, a whole heap of different bombs, mines and incendiaries, which I've displayed on screen here, professional suppressors, chokes and brakes. You can repair and salvage weapons, and you get a bonus called Fine Tuning, which increases gun accuracy. I don't know how, but that's just what the skill says. The armory is brilliant. The amount of stuff it can do is insane, and having a reliable station for crafting weaponry is definitely needed on higher difficulties. You could get away without the armory if you had, say, a fully upgraded workshop and access to the ammo press facility mods, but you couldn't craft professional gun attachments, which is a bit of a trade-off. The Spartan barracks is alright. Gives you 8 beds with a pretty sizable morale penalty, nothing else. If you're desperate for beds, I suppose you could take it, but there's a lot of better alternatives, and a lot of people just don't bother with building beds because they offer next to nothing. Some people do it for the added realism though. So if you're one of those players, maybe taking this isn't so bad. And then you have the fully upgraded fighting gym. What makes it different to its level 1 version? Well, now you can train cardio as well as fighting. But unless you're using a couple of game exploits, leveling cardio is probably the easiest, considering the amount of running, climbing and dodging you do, so it's not a massive help. Now, do we get any specific noticeable bonuses with completing the general Warlord missions? No. No we don't. Now that's one of the reasons why it's ranked the lowest as well. The missions themselves don't really give us anything great, unless of course you think slaughtering the masses is in some ways rewarding. But no, apart from killing folk and taking what they own, i.e. a few guns here and there, you don't really get anything. In fact, one of the missions involves you having to recover your own resources that have been stolen from you. So for that mission, the reward is your own resources.
What a fucking joke.
Basically, it does more harm than it does good. Overall, the Warlord's quest is mainly all pain and no gain. You don't really get much from missions, the facilities you can build and upgrade are fairly average, with a couple of good features here and there, and the reward for completing the Warlord's legacy is probably the worst. But if you're looking for a fun storyline, you might want to give it a try. I've left the Builder at number 3 for a couple of reasons. It's probably the most boring set of missions. You basically become a diet Bob the Builder, making a few facilities, upgrading them and using them. Building things like rain collectors, power generators, workshops, sniper towers, claiming outposts and recruiting survivors. The final mission has you fighting off zombies and enclaves from your home base. Now if you can resist the urge to fall asleep during these missions, they're very easy. And you're going to want to do them at least once, because upon completion of the Builder's Legacy, you get a boon called Amenities. If you've watched any of my previous videos on the channel, then A, check them out if you haven't, and B, you'll know how much I like Amenities. What it does is give you free base-wide water and power for your entire playthrough. No catch, no nothing. Stupidly helpful. It means you don't need to worry about things like building power generators or claiming water outposts, which which saves you influence, facilities, outpost slots, facility mods, just a lot of general stress. It probably is the best boon in the entire game, and that should have bumped it up to number 2 or even number 1 if it wasn't for the other bonuses of the builder being so bad. The builder leader gets access to the sniper tower, a fully upgraded power generator and the luxury barracks. The sniper tower is alright, 2 armed guards and the ability to call in sniper support through the radio. The shots are 50 cal, so they're very strong, but they're fired at an extremely slow rate, which is enough to deter some people from even using it. The luxury barracks is one of the better beds facilities, giving you only 5 beds, but a massive increase to morale. Pretty good for folk that use beds, but as I say, there's a lot of people that don't use beds. The power generator being maxed out is probably one of the least important upgrades out of any of these leader bonuses. Maybe I'm biased because I don't really like the power generator, but even when it's fully maxed out, it still costs a lot to maintain every day. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. Maybe you disagree though. Some of the builder missions are alright. There's one in particular, I think it's called Pillage and Plunder, which gives you quite a few easy materials rucksacks. But apart from that, none of them really give you that great rewards. Most of them are pretty easy though, and that's probably the main selling point of the builder type. How easy it is to do, with very little hostile enclave encounters. Amenities is a massive advantage too, but apart from that, the bonuses are very mid, such as the facilities you can build and the rewards from the missions, which is what keeps it at number 3. Number 2, the Sheriff. Now this is an exciting combat one, but to a slightly lesser extent. You are the law, the Sheriff in town. You try and keep the peace between the enclaves and keep your region safe. But another group, a rival organisation, wants to take over, killing anyone that tries to get in their way. Literally your character when playing the Warlord story. And so with no other options, you kill them all.
Cold as ice, Officer Friendly.
The mission ends in an all-out firefight here, with the objective of killing the rival leader, marking the completion of the campaign. The boon we get for doing this is something called Charity, which gives you a daily supply package containing weapons, meds, snacks, ammo, textbooks, just a decent little care package every day, as well as an initial care package when we first move in. It's a decent boon because it's always going to be there, from day 1, day 10, day 1000, well, I don't know about day 1000, but I'd assume so. It's good, but I think it's just not as good as the number 1 boon or the number 3 boon, which is what holds it back a little bit. Moving on to builds and upgrades, we can fully upgrade the lounge, build the field hospital, and fully upgrade the shooting range. A fully upgraded lounge is brilliant. It is an expensive facility, but having morale is huge. Faster facility action speed, build speed, less arguments, brilliant. And the lounge is the best way to improve it, hands down. The field hospital is pretty useless in my opinion. I could be wrong, no doubt there'll be some folk in the comments that have done calculations and it's cheaper to make something here, or there's some super secret strategy that I'm missing out on. But to me, it just seems like a bigger infirmary. But in this case, bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. You get a couple of extra bonuses like an increase to max health, recovery speed, and a couple of niche bonuses to injury and infection resistance. But apart from that, it's just an infirmary wasted on a large slot. The shooting range, when fully upgraded, lets you train wits, which is pretty good. Wits is probably one of the hardest skills to level up because you need to loot a lot of buildings or stealth kill a lot of zombies, which aren't always the easiest or quickest things to do. So it's quite good for that. Now one very interesting thing we can get when completing the general sheriff missions is a radio command called Plague Heart Supplies. This is a very cheap supply drop that you can call in very regularly, and it gives you 2 resource rucksacks. One of them being meds and then either ammo, fuel or another meds rucksack, some meds consumables like first aid kits and painkillers, distraction items like firecrackers and some type of bomb like fuel bombs or pipe bombs. Now this is insane value for this supply drop, and because of what it costs, you're making a big profit. Some people swear by this supply drop for making them so much influence and just making their playthroughs so much easier. And I would agree, it's an insane supply drop. In fact, this may have been the reason why I put the Sheriff in 2 instead of 3, so it is really good. Consider checking that out. Overall, the Sheriff Legacy is exciting, action-packed and filled with good rewards, for the most part. It's a very solid legacy, but nothing can beat the number 1 spot, which I'll get into right now. I couldn't see myself putting any other leader type in the number 1 spot. It has to be the Trader Leader. Let me tell you something about the Trader Leader. It's probably the second easiest legacy to complete, second only to the Builder's Legacy, but unlike the Builder's Legacy, this one is a bit more interesting. It's exactly how it sounds. You are a salesman, an entrepreneur, a master economist, going about connecting the world through trade, and trade is the key to our success. You transport valuables between communities and eventually come up with an idea to create something called a trade summit in this building here. Essentially a marketplace for all, to buy and sell. Some people don't like this idea and try to take the trade summit for themselves. And after killing them all, you hold off against a small wave of zombies, marking the story complete. The boon you get for all this is called Favours, probably the second best boon, once again beaten by the Builder. It gives you 4,000 influence when you start a new playthrough and a resource trader that shows up at the starter home, selling a ton of valuable resources. This resource trader is part of an enclave that stays on the map, so one extra enclave for you, and the resources they sell are often fairly random, sometimes being meds, food, fuel, ammo, sometimes all of them at the same time. Seriously, I've seen some of these guys with about 10 resource rucksacks each to sell. It's good stuff. Eventually you will run out of the 4,000 influence, but unlike the mobilization care package, you have a lot more choice on what to spend it on. You could even invest it into outposts, enclaves and supply drops to try and earn some money back. Now, if it's not the easiest set of quests or the best boon, why is the trader in number 1? Well, it's because of the bonuses and rewards you get with the trader leader. With the trader, you're able to build the trade depot, fully upgrade the farm, and build the still. These are all fantastic. The trade depot gives you 250 influence per day, which is already great, but it also gives you the ability to call in 6 different resource traders. The food trader, meds trader, ammo, materials and fuel traders, as well as the parts trader. These can randomly spawn during your game, but with the trade depot you can call in any one of these for a small influence cost, 125 I think. These resource traders have a wide stock of their items related to their resource and sell 3 bags of their respective resource. Apart from the parts trader of course, they just sell bundles of parts instead, as you would expect. The traders come to your base, which is brilliant, and you can call each one in every 2 hours. 6 traders every 2 hours is insane. If you need traders to dump items onto, or perhaps buy specific resources in bulk, this is a great facility to have. A fully upgraded farm, yeah, that's a no-brainer. More food or meds per day for your facility is a huge upside. I don't think I need to say much more on that one. And then we have the still. This is quite an interesting facility. With it, we get base-wide water, which is already huge, but then it can also convert food into fuel, food into ethanol, ethanol into whiskey, and make beer. That's a lot of options, but basically what we do with this facility is make luxury items to sell for influence or use up any spare food we have lying around to turn it into fuel, which is useful if we want to keep our cars running or craft things like Molotovs and fuel bombs. There's no real downsides to this facility and a lot of upsides, and the same goes for the trade depot and the maxed out farm, which makes the trader leader very powerful. The final thing to support the trader leader, the last nail in the coffin, is that the rewards from the general trader missions are very good. A couple of missions give us communities that will help us fight the plague hearts by giving us a radio command to use whenever we want backup. One of the communities in particular is a group of military soldiers, and when allied with them, you can recruit one for free. A free soldier. I mean, you'll definitely take that. Another mission literally just gets you to loot a house for a luxury item, and you get 200 influence. I mean, that's just stupid easy. Another one involves you having to give a plague cure to a survivor who's fallen on hard times. But obviously not hard enough times because they give you 3 first aid kits in return. Like, what? So overall, the trader leader is easy to complete, with a very decent boon and absolutely loads of helpful bonuses throughout your playthrough, such as the trade depot, still, and brilliant quest rewards. And for those reasons, it is the best leader type in the game, at least in my opinion. Now that took a lot longer than I thought it would. But there we are folks, every leader type explained and ranked in State of Decay 2, hopefully in enough detail for you guys. As always, let me know in the comments below, do you think I'm a clown for putting the trader in number 1? You can tell me, I don't mind. Maybe I'm the most heroic person you know for making this video. A W list, some may say. Let me know, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.